Okay, so I'm going to show you how you can get to the credit score that you want. The first thing, though, is that I have to prove to you that I know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of people out there talking about get to a 700 score, 750, whatever. My score right here, and I wanted to use one of my monitoring services that I have with one of my credit cards. This right here, it says FICO score 847, exceptional, and it has as of 1/28/2025 and going for 900. That there's my name right there, and it shows my login today, Valentine's Day, on my computer, 9:39 a.m. Eastern. I want to show this because a lot of people will say a lot of things, but they are light, very light on showing the proof. If someone has gotten there, that means that Steve, the owner of the credit repair shop, has went down the path, the yellow brick road. I've already walked down it. I've already stepped on the different landmines that could be there, all the different traps. I've fell through all of that, and I've left a roadmap for you to be able to get to at least what I'm at, which is 847 credit score. And this is across the board, except for one of my bureaus is at like a 843, and I haven't figured that out, but maybe the algorithm is reading it different on that specific bureau. But this one here uses the Equifax. Now I want to show you one more thing before we get into today's video. Okay, now here's the next thing I want to show you. I want to show you when you have excellent credit that they will throw money at you. Now, I'm not saying that you go out there and just abuse and get yourself back into a bad situation. What I'm showing you is that it allows you to be ready for any opportunities that may come your way. So what I want to show you, this is one of my cards, and I'm going to put this amount in here. This is what, $500,000. So if I wanted to get $500,000, I would be able to do it. And just to show you, here's the proof again. Today is February 14th, 2025, and that's the time there. We're Central Time. The other one showed Eastern. So I'm going to click this, and it says right there, you're approved. So based on your account status, I can get $500,000 right now. I wanted to show that because there are a lot of people who just don't believe that they can get to a level that they dream about. And I'm here to tell you that I'm no different than you. All I did is I put my mind to it. And in this video, I promise you, I'm going to show you how, if you can put your mind to it, that you can get to any level that you want in life. You can, if your credit score is important to you, if having good credit is important to you, so you'll be able to do the things that you want to do in your life, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do. So for me, if you're probably of the mindset that I was in when my credit was destroyed, is that I wanted to have some type of effective solution to be able to repair my credit, increase my scores. Because I knew from what I was going through back in 1994, it was in 1994, that the amount of money that we were dishing out solely because we had just let our credit go to hell is that we couldn't save any money. We couldn't move forward. We wasn't being able to get approved for stuff. And when people did approve us for stuff, we were paying high interest rates. And my thought process at that time was, at first, before I really made the change that I'm going to talk about here in a few minutes, is that I was just in that protective mode. Like, I didn't want no one to take what we had. I wanted to protect my family. I wanted to make sure that, whatever I did was not going to have me jump into something and then I regret making that decision. And I think that maybe you might be thinking that way. Like you want to get moving on your credit. You want to make some changes in your life, but you don't want to make a decision where it's like, oh man, we done dove in and it makes it hard for you to go back. Or when you go back and you have these regrets of why did I even, think and do that? And what I was, something that came to my mind that I think will help you understand this is, number one, when you are trying to fix something that you don't know how to fix, it could be very confusing, and our mind will go through this cycle where it's like you reach out to different sources for information, and then you're like wondering what'll work and what won't work. And then your brain starts to try to latch on to something that seems familiar. And when it looks familiar, that could be a problem if that individual or that thing or that product, that service, whatever it is, has not really did what they're telling you that they can do. Like, that's the number one thing. Like, when people ask me, well, Steve, how do I know that your stuff will work? And I say, my stuff works because this is what I had to do. And then they were like, well, but it seems like it's just like, it's confusing. It might take a little bit longer than I expected, like all of these different things. And I was thinking about my granddaughter with the Rubik's Cube. And I was explaining to her that it looks when I'm solving it, because I was showing her how to solve it and she still didn't get it, but I said, you got to just keep doing it. Keep doing these combinations and you will fix it. And I was explaining to her about the cross on the bottom. You see this cross here. And I was showing her that once you get these top levels, because I was showing her how to get the top levels, and when I was doing the top levels, it messes it up. She was like, you're messing it up. And I was like, it's not messing it up because I know the path. And I was showing her with the cross. So you see the cross. And I was saying that there's a move. And you can see it looks all messed up now. And I was like, the move that I show you, it keeps it. And she was like, well, how do you do? She was like totally confused. And that's what I was saying, like in relation to bring that back around to repairing your credit. It looks confusing, but it only looks confusing because you never went down the path. And so if you're coming behind someone who has shown you that they know the way, you basically have to say, I'm going to go full faith and just do what is asked of me and just keep moving forward. Because it gets messed up, depending on where you're at, it gets messed up. And I was explaining to her, she was like, well, the colors, and I was like, if you think about this, the colors represent people could be representative of people who have worse credit than other people. Because some people's credit can get fixed a lot faster than other people. With the Rubik's Cube, depending on where the colors are, that same combination that I was showing my granddaughter, that same combination could take a lot longer to fix the cube. The same combination. But the thing about it is that the same combination is utilized to fix the cube. It depends on what the situation is of that individual. So, if I giving you advice right now, like advice right now, it's like, what can I share with you right now that'll get like, it'll be like a breakthrough, is that you got to convince yourself first. I can't convince you. And I would never want to convince you. You have to convince yourself first that it can be fixed. Like some of the times when people are thinking about, okay, I want to do something with my life. I want to become better or eat better or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden you go back and you're back to where you were at. before. It's because you haven't convinced yourself that you deserve it. I tell my grandchildren all the time because I wish it was told to me, and I ended up telling it to myself at the age of 14. And once I told this, what I'm about to share with you, myself at the age of 14, it did not matter what other people thought about me because I knew myself. I convinced myself that I had value. When you convince yourself that you have value, all types of things will happen for you. Have you ever wondered why some people see the world one way and some people see the world another way? Or you've talked to a friend before that's struggling and you're doing better than them and you're giving them information about how they can kind of improve their life, and they just don't get it. They don't get it. And that's because internally in their mind, they're convinced that they do not deserve it. They don't tell themselves that they don't deserve it. They express it with what they do. They express it with the way that they start stuff and quit too easy. They express it. So the first thing you need to do is you got to convince yourself. If you convince yourself of what you deserve, people come into your life. Opportunities come into your life. All types of things will start to work in your favor on your path to get into where you want to be with your credit, to get to where you want to be with your credit scores. And once that is all taken care of, that'll just be like pushed off to the side because you start to enjoy life the way that you envisioned it for yourself. So if we are going to start to work on our credit, so let me share with you what you could think about doing if you are ready to start repairing your credit. After you've convinced yourself that this is the way it's going to be moving forward. Not knowing exactly how it's going to be done, don't worry about that. What you do is you convince yourself that you deserve it. And just like other things that you convinced yourself that you deserve, that you have in your life right now, when everything you got in your life right now, you convince yourself that that's what you wanted. Good or bad. Good or bad, you convinced yourself. Before you can reach for anything, before you can pick up anything, before you can go buy anything, before you can believe in anything, you have to convince yourself that that's what you want. And the things that you really do convince yourself that you want, they have to work out for you. They have to. I'm a testament to that. Everything that I convince myself in my mind that I deserve it, that that's what I want, it came true for me. And some of the stuff that came true, it was like magic. But does that matter? If it's faith, magic, destiny, all of that stuff. If you look back, it was because you made up your mind. The things that I got in my life, because I made up my mind. So the first thing, I decided to repair my credit. No more living that way. That's what I decided. And if you choose to decide that, that's the first decision that you make. And you make it solid like that. You're going to grab onto it and say, I'm not going back. When you do that, you don't, because first thing is like, how, all of these hows, that's your way of expressing that you don't deserve it when you keep saying, well, how this, how that, how this. And then another way of you expressing that you don't deserve it is to insert yourself into something that you don't really know how to do. That would be like me taking my car to a mechanic and I really don't want him to fix it. And the way that I would be like, I don't want him to fix it, I wouldn't say, don't fix my car. I would be telling him how I want him to fix my car. Any mechanic that's worth worth themselves and their value would just say, please take your car and go somewhere else. Because if I don't know nothing about it, how am I going to insert myself to tell someone how to do something? That would be me expressing in a weird way that I don't want what needs to happen to happen. So Number two, you're going to audit those reports. You're going to audit those reports because that's going to show you internally where you're at. Some people are afraid to know where they're at with their entire credit. Like they'll get the free services. They'll get those ones that'll show you one report or two reports, but they don't want to see the whole story. They don't want to see the comments from those individual furnishers of the negative information. Are you ready to see everything? If you are, then you're going to get all three reports and you're going to audit all three of those reports. Don't worry, later I'll show you how to get all three reports. Next thing is you got to put together a plan of action. Your plan of action is going to be to get you to where you want to be based off of what is actually on your reports from when you do your audit. Because once you know that, then you're going to know how you need to be able to move forward. Doesn't that make sense? Once you know everything, you will know how you need to be able to move forward. The next thing is you need to do follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. Just like that Rubik's Cube, when I showed you that, and you do that, those combinations over and over and over again, that's exactly what you do without getting off the road. That's why if you follow someone that's already been on the road, that's cleared all of the landmines, all of the booby traps, all of the stuff that would stop you, even the mindset things that would stop you, you would just keep doing the combination. The combination is to keep working on repairing your credit. That's the combination. Everybody else gets lost. They send you all these other different directions and you never end up getting to where you want to be. They send you all of these quick fix directions and you never get to where you want to be. So let me share with you what we want to offer you with the Credit Repair Shop, but I'm not going to tell you to go right now. Just wait. I'm not going to tell you to go right now to sign up. What I want to do is I want to give you everything that you're going to get, because I think that it's very important that you know this, because some of the times people think that they're just paying a fee for credit repair when it's a lot more than that. If it was paying a fee, you're dollar for dollar for what you pay us, when I share with you what you're going to get, you're going to be like, you're getting way more than what you're paying. And I want to, because my team said, Steve, you need to talk to people and tell them what all we do. Like it's not implied. People are, even though this is happening for them, they don't know the value of what's happening for them. So first, let's just talk about what you get. Is you get a consultation, $250. You're going to get that. $250 is what that would cost. You're going to get a copy of the book, this here, The Real Credit Secrets. Real Credit Secrets is my way of sharing with you the roadblocks, the traps, and understanding how the credit system works. Because I've went through it. This book shares with you how the credit system works, so when your credit is repaired, you don't fall into those traps again. The next thing that you're going to get is full-time employee. My employees work full-time. Average for my hourly workers, $18 to $25 per hour. So you have an employee that is working and they're $18 to $25 per hour. If you were, just say that you needed their time for 1 hour or a couple hours a week, that would be over $10,000 in value. If your credit is totally destroyed, like bad, that means that you would have an employee that you would have had to pay because you want to be able to do things that you want to do in your life, because you don't know how to repair your credit. If you already knew, it would already be repaired. So that value right there is over 10 grand to have a full-time employee available to even just to talk to you if you're just having a bad day and you're just like, hey, my thought is all over the place. Something happened with the family. Can you just give me some guidance? That was something that I didn't even know that my sales team was doing. And I was like, that's value to them. Other companies would have been like, imagine calling your credit card company and you're telling them that one of your family members passed away or your husband had a stroke or something. And they're going to tell you, well, okay, well, you get that payment to us still. What we do is we share with them, hey, we're sorry for what you're going through, but we want to make sure that you keep your mindset right, because number one, your loved one would want you to be able to keep your mindset right. Because if you break down, they're having some problems, and then if you break down, it's like a domino effect. And it's like a separation. Like, we help people to say, even though it's not being heartless to not have yourself break down, to allow yourself to stay strong. That is not being heartless. That's actually showing that you have faith that you can handle two things at the same time, or multiple things at the same time. A lot of people juggle stuff, but they juggle it with the wrong mindset. Just imagine if you had someone that you could talk to and they just like, hey, you got to keep yourself on the path. And it's not about the path of credit repair. It's just on the path of the right mindset. And that makes a huge difference, because when people look back, they're like, okay, we went through this personal issue, but I was able to keep working on what I needed to get worked on for my credit. And when all of that stuff was over, they're like, man, I didn't get paralyzed during that time. I made good work of the time that I had available to me. Another thing is the education. I do consulting with people, and I charge for my clients that I consult with, I charge them $2,000 a month for consulting, and they line up to pay that $2,000 a month. But what I do from time to time is my staff will bring me questions, and I'll just be like, this is the answer you need to give them. This is the answer you need to give them. Or if you're just one of the lucky ones where I might do one of my webinars and invite you there, that's $2,000 worth of my time that you're getting. And why would people pay $2,000? Because when I sit down with them for a $2,000 session for 1 hour, they're getting tens of thousands of dollars worth of information, because they get to ask me exactly what they need to ask pertaining to their specific issue. So it's not about spending $2,000. They're getting way more in value. I just showed you the value. If I was able to sit down with you and share with you exactly step by step how to get to a $500,000 approval for your American Express, and I have 10 of those cards, all of them are $500,000 or more approval. The next thing is you get portal activation, so you can see what's going on for the work that's being done. So okay, I just log in, okay, that's being worked on, that's being worked on. I need to communicate, I'm busy working, I forgot, I need to be able to send a message. You can send that message right there through the portal. The next thing that you would also get is additional research, which is very, very, very valuable. I didn't even really consider this at one point, and then I was like, when we would talk to people and tell them about the research that we could do for them, or we would do some of the research. Some of the stuff is paid because it might take a lot longer, but some of the stuff is just to research our stuff that we've researched for other people, and we just say, okay, here's looking through our database of quick answers that we can give you. This is what you need to do. That's like $350 an hour that we charge. Why do people pay $350 an hour? One good example is one couple that came to us and they owed over, I think it was $375,000. And with the information that we were able to share with them, they were able to get that debt down to $125,000. So just think about that. That is huge. By just the research that we were able to do for them. And they did end up hiring us for the services, and they ended up paying $10,000 for the service, but would you pay someone $10,000 if they could save you over 200 and some $1,000? Absolutely. That's the value. And that's the way that people should look at it. When I was adding all of this stuff up, it was over 13 grand. $13,000, close to $14,000 worth of services that someone would get. And we're just talking about the extreme bad credit people over just a year of working with us. Over $14,000 in value for what they would end up paying. We only charge $110.95 per month to work on your credit. So you can see that it's huge value. So what you can do right now is you can go to the link. Link is below here. Sign up for the credit repair services. We do not charge anything for you to get started. So actually you're getting the value up front. We're going to get your credit reports reviewed, do that consultation for you. I'm going to get that credit secrets book out to you. We're going to get you set up in the portal. You're going to be working right away with an employee that's becoming your employee in a sense, because they're going to be doing the work for you. And you're going to get the education right away, because we're going to be giving you the book that's going to show you, and we're going to get you started on that road to get your credit repaired. So if you want to go ahead and get started, go to thecreditrepairshop.com and watch the video, What Makes Us Different. That shows my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com to grab your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports and all 3 scores. If you have debt collectors coming after you, grab my 3-pack of letters: statute of limitations, debt validation, cease and desist collection activities letter. Thank you for your time. Subscribe to the channel. Post your questions and comments. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and Founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.